What was the first IndyCar race you ever attended?
I think the first IndyCar race I ever went to was at Nashville Super Speedway. I really do. I mean, it must be. This was like back in, man, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It might have been the Indy 500. I should know this, but I can't confirm. It was either Nashville Super Speedway, like early 2000s, or it was the Indianapolis 500 in 2004. Which sounds crazy. I didn't go to a lot of racing events when I was younger. I watched everything on TV. So it's probably Indy 2004. That's my guess. I don't remember. I don't know why I don't remember.
Sounds like you don't remember.
Did you get that I didn't remember?
New fan here, wondering if there's any particular event this year that has you more excited than you would be for any other year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for Nashville. I think it's the perfect. I mean, it's cool that I'm from there. It's going to be a really fun opportunity, but it is the perfect city for an IndyCar race. It's just perfect. I mean, it's a sports town now. It's an event town. I think, they're both good for each other. Nashville, the city, is good for IndyCar, and I think IndyCar will be good for Nashville because people are going to see an event there like nothing else they've ever seen. So I'm crazy excited for it. I think it has the potential to be long-standing, to become a new staple on our calendar, and I hope that ends up being the case.
Do you prefer high tire pressure and soft springs, or the reverse? Do you prefer the car to push or get loose in corner entry?
That's a lot. There's a lot going on there. I could say this. The car's pretty stiff, and IndyCar is just stiff in general. There's not a lot of sidewall deflection on the Firestones. Our softest springs are pretty high rate. You're still running 900,000 pound springs at like about the softest on a street course. And you still have generally a third spring involved there too, so that your heave rate's probably even a little stiffer than that. I definitely like a car that talks to you, and by that I mean just gives you feedback and you have good feel for the way it's starting to transfer load. So that's the very initial movement of the car. If you don't have a good sensation for initially what the car is doing, I don't like it. So when that's happening, I generally call the car vague or low on drivability. When you have high drivability, it gives you a lot of feedback, starts talking to you really early about when the car's starting to transfer load. Outside of that, I would prefer a neutral balance more than anything. That's what we would call perfect, but if I had to err to one side, I want an oversteer car over an understeer car. Oversteer car, you can make more happen. I mean, there's more in your hands. Understeer, you're kind of just, for me, you're locked in. I mean, the car is going to do what it's going to do. You can't really affect it too much, especially in IndyCar. It's just hard to drive through understeer. So if it's going to do anything, I'd rather just be loose and try and hang on.
Any chance we'll see you in anything but an IndyCar in the coming years? The new IMSA prototypes look like it would appeal to a team with the sort of resources that Penske has. A guest appearance in something like Trans Am or Austin Supercars would be cool, or Pikes Peak like Jerry Hildebrand. Yeah,
I would like to do anything, honestly, with you. I want to run Daytona. I really want to run Sebring. The Triple Crown would be super fun. So obviously, you'd have to get Monaco in there to do that. I don't know how that would happen. But running Le Mans is on my list. Something more unique, Bathurst. Love to do that, especially after talking to Scott about it. He says it's amazing. Pikes Peak, that would be cool too. I don't know if that would come about, that opportunity. It's just hard, nowadays when you're focused on one thing, a lot of times, people want you to focus on that specifically. And I get that, and it's just hard to, take up other opportunities, but I want to do everything. I don't know how else to put that. I want to run Bristol, okay? If I can just run a stock car at Bristol, I'll be so happy.
So with Bristol, daytime or night race?
Night race, 100%. I'll take it any way I can get it, but I think a night race.
I don't know if you'll answer this, but what are the most overrated tracks to drive? What about underrated?
Most overrated track? Man, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, but...
I say, where do we not go anymore?
Right. I would say, let me start with underrated. I think a place like Iowa has been underrated. I think people are starting to recognize how cool of a track Iowa was. Obviously, I've been pretty good there, so I'm not trying to use that just because of that reason, but I think Iowa has been one of the best IndyCar events that we've ever had. It's a great racing track. I love short ovals, so I'd say that was underrated. Overrated would be, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of tracks that I hate or dislike, so it's hard for me to say something that's overrated. I don't know. I mean, I would say, I don't know. I was going to say Watkins Glen, but that's a great track. I don't know that I have anything that's overrated that Pocono. I'm going to say Pocono. I'm not even ashamed to say that. You know, it's not a terrible racetrack, but if it was ever rated high, I've never enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that great of a track.
What is your favorite part about the town of Speedway?
My favorite part? I like Main Street on Speedway. I think it's super cool. I like that they've revitalized that section of the town. You know, to me, it's becoming more of a hub for the racing industry. You know, there's a lot of interest for teams to be based around there, right across from the track. I love that. I think that's probably one of the most exciting things about it. So yeah, Main Street's a very cool spot.
Hinch has a beer named after him. What sort of beverage would I be drinking if it's titled after you? Bonus points if you also have a witty title for it.
Buffina's Brew. It's I just want to say Buffina all the time now. No, I don't know. I haven't thought about this. You know, I would probably, knowing me, I'd have some like super stupid herbal tea, something like that with kombucha, and it'd be gosh, I don't know. The garden of it's the garden of something. The garden of something is what's gonna make it. Okay, you gotta come on. Give it one, Alex. You got something? The garden.
I like that people are getting to experience ideating.
Yes. Garden of berries. The garden of brouhaha. I don't know. We're getting there.
Gotta bring in the flute into this one.
Yeah. Pan flute sensation. The pan flute's crest. You know. Iron ore's mist. I don't know. J-Ann's Jamaican Jam. That doesn't even make sense.
I like that, though. Let's go with that.
You know what, guys? It's going to be a Coca-Cola type drink. We're calling it J-Ann Jamaican's Jam, okay? Is that an Amber Alert?
TC 2.0?
Oh, did it say I lose power?
I know some guys like Hinchcliffe and Rossi seem to keep up with F1 and NASCAR, but do you follow any other motorsports outside of IndyCar?
Yeah, I follow everything. Well, I shouldn't say everything, but Formula One, I follow quite closely. NASCAR, I follow really closely. I follow IMSA, you know, every now and then. The European Le Mans Series, I follow a little bit. Things I don't follow, Formula E, it's just hard. It's hard to follow it. There's a lot of really good talent in that, and I just struggle to follow it. I used to follow the supercar stuff when Scott was over there. Don't follow it as much anymore. But yeah, Formula One and NASCAR, I don't miss an event.
But what do you think can be done to get more oval tracks permanently on IndyCar's schedule? And what needs to be done with the package on those tracks so they put on a good show that isn't too dangerous?
What needs to be? Yeah, okay.
How do we get more, and how do we make it safe?
I mean, look, I think everybody wants to get more ovals, and I think you know, we want to do that organically. We're not trying to just add ovals to add ovals. But I vote for more short ovals. I'm a big fan of that. I think Iowa races super well, so any chance to get that back. I think Richmond, honestly, could be one of the best tracks for IndyCar. I think it will race like Iowa. I'd love to get Milwaukee back. It was one of my favorite tracks to go to. So all short ovals for me. But certainly we could go back to some cool places like Kentucky. I've heard that races super well. And maybe some others, you know, we could add in there. I think the package tuning is very specific to each place. It's a combination of the aero, the downforce levels, and also the tire construction. But, you know, they can all be tuned to get in that perfect window. It's just hard to nail that perfect window every time because you're having changing weather conditions. You know, the track ages year to year, so it's hard to get it right every time, but it's doable. We've had, you know, amazing races at a lot of tracks, so we can get it right.
If you could pick one fellow driver to take on in a wrestling match, who would it be?
One fellow driver to take on in a wrestling match? I mean, I think Sage would be like the expert at wrestling. I mean, he was like a...
You typically want to fight the best guy?
Well, you know, I'd want to learn from the best. I feel like Sage is probably the best wrestler in the paddock. So yeah, I would take him on because I'd want to learn from him. You know, teach me how to be good at it. Yeah.
Have you ever been considered for an F1 seat?
Have I ever been considered for an F1 seat? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea.
What's Joseph's street legal dream car and why?
Is that the
That's a real
question?
question. I did not make that up. Yeah.
My street legal dream car? I'm going to tell you guys right now. E40, no. Prius. E46 M3, that was my dream car growing up. Oh my gosh, I loved the E46 M3s. They were so good. I wanted one. Black on black. Dreamed of that. Ended up getting an M4. So I've never purchased an E46 M3, but that would be my dream car. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the answers. Thanks so much. I don't really know how to end these things, so good luck in life.
Jesus Christ.
Good lie.
I didn't know what to say.
For Reddit, that's perfect, actually.